Good morning. Welcome to this fourth Sunday of Lent, Litari Sunday and Mother's Day. Today we're looking at the idea of restored to use sight. We have this beautiful gospel from St. John of the blind man. Jesus saw a man who had been blind since birth, and his disciples asked him, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" "Neither this man nor his parents sinned," said Jesus, "but this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him." So what can we learn from this? Well, we know that the true light, Jesus Christ, has come into the world. We receive this light that enlightens mankind when we are baptized. Our eyes are opened in a spiritual sense. At baptism, we promise to live in the light and give testimony to him. Hence, the Father is given the candle to carry on behalf of that child that is being baptized, the light of the world. The message of the world is loud and persistent, and if we let that message, it can be persuasive. We will be tempted to deny the obvious. The one thing we do know with certainty, however, is that we cannot accept the lies of the evil one. Let's look at the example of this man born blind for some guidance. As the man born blind was cured of his physical blindness, he underwent a healing of his spiritual blindness. We can see this in how progressively he refers to Jesus first as the man called Jesus, and then a little later on he says he's a prophet. And then in verse 33, he refers to him as being from God. And finally, he said, "I do believe, Lord," and worshipped in Christ. This man gradually was opened to the truth. The darkness gave way to the light, and his spiritual blindness also was healed. So throughout our own days too, we are called to this ever-deepening relationship with the Lord, even beyond the point of calling him Lord and worshipping him. And this conversion must continue to deepen so that our communion with him will deepen and we will attain our supernatural end. The irony of the confrontation between the man and the Pharisees is shared by us in our daily confrontation with the world and our own temptations. This man, who was supposedly an inferior of the Pharisees, was the more enlightened of the two. And we Christians who are not of the world, but are nonetheless in the world, are to be the more enlightened of the two also. May we ever cling to the light that banishes the darkness which is all around us. When the world, in its own language, twists the meaning of the words of the man whose sight was restored and asks us, "Do you want to become his disciple too?" let us shout, unafraid and in loving faithfulness, "We do, and we are." How is the Christian way of seeing things different, particularly in our culture today? We allow darkness to give way to his glorious light. Today we sometimes feel in this crisis that is affecting the whole world that we are in darkness. And yet, if we go back to those very first words that Jesus said, he said that this sickness came upon this man, this illness, this blindness came so that we can actually grow and see his glory at work in the world. So in these troubled days in our country and in our world, let's put our hope in that we know that whatever is happening to us, this darkness will be dispelled by the light of Christ and his glory. If we can but see with our spiritual eyes and disperse our spiritual darkness, our spiritual blindness. Thank you.